What? Church is closed? Sweet! If that was your response to hearing the news that the church is closed, I'm going to need you to put on your thinking cap. Think, and rethink that thing. Church is not the building. Church is not the building. Church is in you. So get up and get your Bible and let's talk church. Ding, 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 ding. So let's begin with this. 1 Peter 2:5 actually says, you yourselves like living stones are being built up as a spiritual house to be a holy priesthood, to offer spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God through Jesus Christ. What am I saying? Your body, you personally are the church. You are the church. And now that we've gotten that underway, let's get into the word. We're in the book of Job. And as you may know, Job is a long book. There are like 42, 43, there's a bunch of chapters. There's a whole lot of chapters in the book of Job. But we're looking at the book of Job, and basically, little synopsis. And the first 2 chapters, 3 chapters, Satan basically says, okay, God, you know what? I got Job. Let me have Job, and he'll curse you. So Job ends up losing his cattle. He ends up losing his camel. He ends up losing his shepherds. He ends up losing his children. He ends up losing everything. But he would not curse God. So then Satan says, you still got a hedge of protection around him. I guarantee if you let me touch his body, let me make him a little bit sick, let me throw some scabs and sores on him, he'll curse you. He'll curse you, God. So God says, okay, cool. Go ahead and do that. But here's what you cannot do. Don't take his life. So what does Satan do? Satan attacks Job's health. And Job, throughout the whole book, all those chapters, he's talking to friends. He's saying, I didn't do anything, but God is just doing this and God is doing that. But he never cursed God. So finally, we get to chapter 42, verses 1 through 6, which is our passage for today. And basically it says, Job is just babbling on and on and on and on. And God answers Job. Here it is. Job answered God. I'm convinced you can do anything and everything. Nothing and no one can upset your plans. You asked, who is this muddying the water, ignorantly confusing the issue, second guessing my purposes? You get that? You get that? Second guessing God's purposes. I admit it. I was the one. I babbled, Joseph. I babbled on about things far beyond me. Made small talk about wonders way over my head. You told me, listen, and let me do the talking. Let me ask the questions. This is God now. This is God saying, let me give it back to me, Job. You give the answers. I admit, I once lived by rumors of you, Job says, but now I have it all firsthand, from my own eyes and ears. I'm sorry, Job said. Forgive me. I'll never do that again. I promise. I'll never again live on crust of hearsay, crumbs of rumors. And then after that, of course, God restores Job. But basically, what is the lesson about? God allowed Job to experience a little bit of testing. Not because Job had did anything wrong, but because Job did anything right. And I know what you're saying. You're like, whoa, wait a minute. I live right. I do everything right. And then God is going to test me. And he's going to he's going to take all my stuff. And then all of a sudden, I won't have anything. And I got scabs and sores. And I'm looking crusty. And then I got to go through all this stuff. Well, I don't know how God will test you. But if you belong to him, he will protect you. And a lot of times, we've been talking about 20/20 vision and being able to see God in the dark. We've talked about nocturnal vision and having good night vision. Well, Job was going through a really dark time. And he was having trouble seeing what God's message was in all of this. Now, in essence, I guess that happens to us a little bit as well. We too go through dark times. Loss of a family member, loss of a pet. We didn't get the job we applied for or the job we wanted. Didn't make the team we tried out for. Broke a body part, maybe an arm, a leg, a mouth. Just kidding, not a mouth. Didn't get a scholarship we applied for. There's drama with our best friend or with our friends. There's drama with our parents. Anxiety, depression, sickness. And then up to drugs, alcohol, maybe vaping, lots and lots of darkness in our life where it is hard for us to see God at all. And we're like, God, where are you in the midst of this? Well, Job couldn't see God either, but Job could trust God. And so I encourage you to do the same. As you're kind of going through right now in this darkness, trying to have some night vision, why don't you trust God? Trust God in this. And then guess what? In trusting God, we'll soon find that things become clearer and clearer and clearer. And eventually, we're in the light again. And we understand a little bit about what God was trying to do in our lives and what God was trying to say to us in our lives. Things will always get better. Sometimes they're worse, but they will always get better as we trust God. So, what am I saying to you? This is what I'm saying to you. Be positive. Be positive. Be positive. Be positive. And trust God even in the midst of your going through. Aren't you glad? Get it? Orange. Aren't you glad you got up and went to church? Stay positive. Have a great week. Your thinking cap on. Until next time.